Some very bad news for you today, Algo fam. John Allen Woods is stepping down as CTO. That is right now. John Woods, he's had a big impact on the Algorand blockchain, and we're going to talk about some of those things today. Plus, we're going to talk about will Algorand be the chain for agent-to-agent payments? We'll dive into that news. Algorand dominating the stock market. This is a nice, quick little one, so we will look at all that. But the big news we want to spend a little time with is John Woods' announcement that he made this morning. So we're going to look at that on today's Frugal BC. By the way, guys, if you like this stuff, please hit the like and subscribe button. Now, remember, you don't have to smash it. You can actually just press it just gently. It works just fine that way too. Also, we are brought to you by non-fungible domains. If you want that .algo address after your name, makes doing everything in the Algorand blockchain so much easier. You know, I'm not going to remember all those letters and numbers. It's too complicated. You just get a nice little .algo address, makes it so much easier. Check them out in the description below. And we are brought to you by Marcus Aurelius. This is a meme coin and NFT project spreading the word about stoicism, which I think is so cool. Love the project, love the creators. Be sure to, they got some really cool stuff coming up. They've been making these cool animations. I recommend you check them out on their Twitter or Discord, and they really like the Telegram group for their community, so check all that out. Thanks to both of our sponsors in the description below. But let's get to today's news, and I know we're eager to get to this John Allen Woods news. It's a big deal. It's really unfortunate, but I want to first look at this thing about Algorand being the chain for agent-to-agent payments. Is a short little clip, so we're going to look at that first.
Kyle, I go by Kirby.algo. I had the pleasure of getting help from Chris and Gabe on this. You know, I've been working on smart wallets for about 2 years. We've been trying to create, you know, hyper convenience while maybe even improving some security. That's what we've been working on for a few years. And I got here and people started talking about Agentic AI, and it was just too juicy to pass up. So we threw this together lightning fast. We were upstairs panicking while some of you were presenting, but I'm really excited to display this. There's a chance that this is going to work. So to give you guys an idea of what we are doing, we have a smart contract that represents the user's wallet, and you install plugins on that wallet. It's kind of like a contract-based operating system for your wallet. So we created this marketplace. There's a listing factory contract, and it creates listings and it sells NFTs. And what we're going to show you guys, what we're going to demo, is that we have 2 AI agents. One is going to represent the buyer, and the other is going to represent the seller. So we are going to let these agents go, and we're going to let them figure out what price this thing should be sold for, and hopefully strike a deal. So I'm going to go ahead. Cool. We built a. You want to talk? Oh, hold it for me. Thank you. Very kind. So Gabe here built a CLI-based client so that Claude doesn't have to ask us permission every single time it wants to do something, run an MCP tool. And so we're going to run this, and hopefully it works. So cross your fingers. It's got to build some clients, and hopefully we get a little greeting. There we go. So I'm going to say, hey, buy me an NFT. You know what? I got a little ahead of myself. We have to make a smart wallet first. So we have this little thing. We're going to click create a smart wallet. We have a KMD wallet already connected just because money's got to come from somewhere for that contract. And then I'm going to go ahead and install my agent. And you can see over there in the console that we are actually getting transactions on our local net. I'm going to install the opt-in plugin just in case I can't think right now. So we're going to make sure that we have everything covered. So back to the agent. We're going to say buy me an NFT. Use 1034 as the sender. We did not have time to give this thing the app ID that we just created in the background. What else did we want to tell it to do? Just pick one. Yeah, so we don't care what NFT it's going to pick. Just pick one. Okay, so, all right, I'll help you get an NFT. The dark green is as the buyer, the light green is the seller.
Holy crap. Look at it go.
All right, so our 2 AI agents just independently struck a deal, and then, yeah, we'll get there. So we'll go look at this in Laura. So yeah, pretty freaking exciting.
Guys, the future is here. I mean, man, they just had 2 agents just buy stuff on chain all by themselves, man. That's crazy. Oh, I don't follow Gabe. That's wild. I definitely should be following Gabe. Okay, I'm gonna hit follow on that. You guys can't see that, but yeah, for sure should have been following him. But dang, man, that's crazy. That's wild. I should have Kirby on the show because that's super interesting. I don't know. The agent stuff is really fascinating to me because to me that's where AI really becomes something. All the things we've been talking about, you know, where people say it's like replacing workers and things like that. The agents is where that really happens. Like ChatGPT itself, not really gonna. It's more of a tool, like an assistant tool. But once it can start moving and doing things on its own, that's when you're really going to start seeing some of these innovations, and where frankly some of the really cool stuff is going to happen and some of the really scary stuff. So I just wanted to share that because I just think that's fantastic, just amazing. So yeah, go give them a follow, give the developers channel a follow. You can see some really cool stuff there. And Gabe.algo, great follow. I just followed him myself. I thought I was following him, who knows? Let's get to the next item though, and that is a quick little one about Algorand dominating the stock market. So as you guys know, Exodus, which is a wallet built on Algorand, tokenized its stock on Algorand, and that's had a huge effect. So let's take a look here. This is from our good friend Kay, who is at K Blockchain. Great follow on Twitter, does a lot of Algorand and other stuff too. Algorand tokenizes stocks with Exodus. Firm's Exod stock has been brought on chain via Algorand. Total value, look at way more value on chain by stocks than you have for. That's really cool. Look at that. Algorand 354 million versus Ethereum only has 4.6, Gnosis 11.6, and XRP Ledger, which is 55.4. That is a lot, yes. Much better than FIFA. Well, you know how I feel about the FIFA thing. So pretty cool that they're tokenizing their shares like that, and that it's having a huge impact. And that's just a short little thing. So the real news today, and some people told me they saw it coming, which kind of makes sense. He has been a little checked out lately compared to normal, and it's a good point. Some people have brought to my attention, but I have to admit it totally blindsided me. I just assumed he was busy working, you know, because we saw this with Stacy too, where she was really active for a while, and I think she got some pushback and she decided to kind of back off a little bit. Honestly, I don't think that was unwise, frankly. I think that was probably a good idea. But John Woods was like, he kind of became the de facto spokesperson for Algo because I think he was so personable, as well as just having a tremendous command of the blockchain technologies. Obviously, it was as you would expect for someone who's the chief technology officer at Algorand, also worked at Cardano and Ethereum. And so we've had him on the show twice. I had a little trouble getting him on for the third time. Not sure what happened there. And, you know, it is what it is. We moved on. We did other things. But, yeah, let's take a look at this news because it was quite a surprise to me. So here's what I tweeted. I said, oh no, end of an era, big loss for Algorand, tough shoes to fill for sure. Why? Here's what he posted, and we're just gonna read the whole thing here. After 3 incredible years, I've decided to step down as CTO of the Algorand Foundation. When I joined the Algorand Foundation, I set out to make the developer experience exceptional. I think he absolutely did. Lower barriers to entry, absolutely. AlgoKit definitely did that. Switching to pure proof of Python was a big step in that direction. Now TypeScript as well, which some very helpful subscribers explained to me is very much like JavaScript, because I remember saying, well, I haven't heard of TypeScript, but what about JavaScript? And they said it's kind of like the same thing, I guess. I'm no expert in it, so but it's pretty similar except for some different functionalities, I believe. And yeah, he kind of lays it out. I think these are all good things. With the introduction of AlgoKit, NodeKit, staking rewards, P2P, and the progress we've made together as a community, I'm proud of what has been accomplished. I think, as my understanding, unless I'm wrong about this, last I checked, P2P wasn't quite live yet, but they're working on it. But the rest are, yeah, staking rewards was smart, absolutely smart, because people just were not running nodes, and frankly, who could blame them? Like, why run a node if you're not making anything off of it? You know, a few people did, like, right? So some people are because they're enthusiasts and they just like the idea of doing it. But frankly, you're not going to like stake a lot to the network unless you're actually, you know, getting incentivized. There's some reason to do so, especially when there's so much else you can do with your algo. So yeah, I think that was a great move. P2P will be good. That's one of the areas where Algorand falls behind some other chains. NodeKit, yeah, great. It makes it real easy to launch. I mean, it's kind of surprising that early on, you know, you had to have Ost from One-Click Node create his own, you know, create the program himself instead of other people doing it. So NodeKit was definitely an answer to that. And AlgoKit, for, you know, they're on version 3.0 now, which makes it very much easier for people to get started on developing on Algorand. And by the way, I shouted this out before, but if you haven't checked out the series that the Algorand Foundation is doing, you should check that out. I think you can find info on their page. I watched the first one and it was very good. Sarah from the foundation, and she's pretty young, I believe. She did a really great job. I was kind of surprised. I was expecting it to be a little dry, and I thought, oh, I'll watch like 20 minutes of this and then try to watch more later. I was entertained. I enjoyed it enough that I just wanted to watch it all the way through. So anyway, we'll continue on here. He said, my decision to step down has not been an easy one. Yeah, I imagine. My colleagues and friends at the Algorand Foundation and the members of this community mean the world to me, and it is time for me to try something new. Sure, I get it. You can't just stay in the same spot all the time. And I don't know, that's kind of the world we're in now. You don't just stay at a company for all your life. Like my dad's era was still like people would just, get a job out of high school, or maybe it's their second or third job, and then they would just stay there for, the rest of their life, get a pension and all that stuff. That's not really today's world. That kind of changed a little bit with my generation, and the millennials and the Gen Z are definitely more prone to job hopping, I guess, and it's almost more of an expectation now. I don't know what you do next now. That'd be interesting. It'd be interesting. I definitely want to see like where he goes. Well, let's save that, because let's see here. Thank you for believing in and being core to the work we have done together. I will of course continue in my role to ensure a careful handover to the next CTO, and I'll remain a part of this community and ecosystem. So he's still going to stay in Algorand. He's still going to be participating, I guess, and that's awesome. I only got to meet him briefly at Decipher. He was pretty nice, but I tried to grab him for an interview back then, and he was on his way to something else, and then it was a big event, and we just never touched base again. And then of course he came on the channel a couple times. The first time after I reacted to his appearance on BitBoy. Finally, I'd like to thank Stacy for her leadership and for giving me the opportunity to work on Algorand. Yeah, for sure. I look forward to sharing with you soon what I'll work on next. And I want to see that, because I said you did tremendous work and moved the chain forward in a number of ways, my friend. You'll be missed by many, including myself. Yeah, here's what Stacy had to say, which is worth pointing out here. John, you've been a phenomenal CTO. Agreed. Leading our efforts to transform the developer experience on Algorand from the ground up, mentoring an incredible team of developers, serving as an important face and trusted voice of the Algorand and the community and beyond. Yeah, so that's a really important point. I think John Woods ended up becoming one of the faces of Algorand. And that's why I think this is a big loss. All the stuff he accomplished as CTO is of course super important, and that would be, that's a loss anyway, no matter, even if you never heard from the guy. But he also, like, for a while he was really the guy doing all the interviews, and then now we got Mark, and Mark has been out front quite a bit now too, and the three of them, Mark, Min Wei, is it? Am I getting that right? Or am I just pronouncing your Twitter handle? Sometimes sometimes I see Twitter handles more than I see actual names. But Min and John and Mark were like leading the Algorand Foundation's podcast, which was pretty cool. Anyway, so yeah, that's an added loss, because he was also very much a out front spokesperson. He'll be sorely missed, despite the challenges we've faced, which, by the way, you've handled with tremendous grace and magnanimity. Yeah, for sure. You've delivered so much for the Algorand community. While you may be hanging up your official title, you remain the leader in our ecosystem. Fair. And you better believe I'm still going to call you whenever I want. Algo fam, we are continuing with IGP FinTech Fletch on our CTO search. Are we working with them? So just to be clear, like, Stacy didn't see this morning. They had a conversation about this, I'm sure. You can tell by the way she's worded this. This is planned out. She knew this was coming. So, who knows how long this has been going on. If they already have a search firm going on, then there was probably a board discussion. So presumably, this didn't come up yesterday or a week ago. This was going on for a little while. They're just announcing it today. AlgoFam, we are working with IG FinTech Fletch for our CTO search, and I will keep you all posted on the progress. John will serve for a few months as CTO to help with the transition, and Bruno Martins will be acting CTO if there is a gap. One of John's most important legacies is that he built the best engineering team in crypto, so while I'm sad, I'm not worried. Very cool. Yeah. Now, how on earth do you replace John? That's going to be tough, because he had quite a pedigree before coming to the foundation here. He, like he said, worked at Cardano and Ethereum, so he's really got a good bird's eye view of all the major crypto projects and how they work and how they differentiate. I'm very curious to see where he's going to land. I'm sure, I wonder, the one thing I wonder why he decided to step down, because he didn't really address a point. He doesn't, the way he worded it is that, wherever he lands or something like that. What did he say? Let's So I look forward to sharing with you soon what I'll work on next. Okay, so I think so that seems to say, actually I take it back, I might have misread that. To me that sounds like he's planning to he's got something lined up. So it'd be wild if it was like Sui or Hedera. The way he's saying sharing with you what I'll work on next probably means it's in the crypto space, and I just don't see how you would do something else beyond that. I mean, it's not impossible, but you know, crypto is like a pretty specialized skill set, and I think you're going to be command a pretty high salary, higher than you would like in outside of that, just because of the rarity of someone with his skill set. But I could be wrong, but yeah, it sounds like that's lined up. So I would guess it's definitely going to be something in crypto, and I'll be really curious what it is. And I say that because I think whatever blockchain he goes to, I will probably start becoming a fan of. I'll be honest. Yeah, if it's Solana, I'll be fascinated. I will be fascinated. That would be like the ultimate. That would be the ultimate like reversal. Like this would be max drama. If John Woods landed at Solana, that'd be amazing, because he'd be like, yeah, we got to fix this stuff. Oh my God, that would be like content farm city for me. You know, I don't think that's gonna happen, but if it did, that's the most interesting timeline. Maybe not the best optimal timeline, but definitely the best from a content perspective is if John Woods landed at Solana. But we'll see. Yeah, we're gonna keep following him, and we'll see where he ends up. And like I said, yeah, no, I'd be a Solana fan. If he went to Solana, I'd be a Solana fan. I mean, I own some. Like I've made money off of it. I don't do anything on the Solana blockchain. But yeah, no, I definitely would become a fan if that were the case. All right, so, you know, good for John. I want to say a thank you to him for being on my channel a couple times, and I thought we had really good conversations when he was on. John's John, I think he tries to approach crypto with intellectual honesty, and I try to approach crypto that way as well. You know, from my perspective, which, you know, I'm certainly no expert on the technical side, but I try to understand it as best I can. And, you know, from an investment perspective, I try to take a really open-minded approach and try to, you know, do little experiments and see what works. I think that's the best way to go about it. So big thank you to John. You did a great job on the foundation. We're happy. I said that in my post, but I'll say it here too. And I hope with whatever chain he goes to, he still wants to come on. John, you're welcome to come on anytime you want for whatever chain, even if it's Solana, whatever chain you end up at, assuming it's a blockchain, definitely welcome on the show anytime. So otherwise, guys, thanks so much for watching. I hope you're doing well out there. As always, stay safe, and I'm Frugal BC, and I will see you in the future.